Good morning, everyone. It is morning officially. We welcome you to a live edition of the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. I'm Bob Pompeani. Always a lot to debate in Pittsburgh sports, and we're going to do it for the next 30 minutes right here. We have a lot to get into with what we saw yesterday with the 4 semifinal games of the national playoff in college football. We'll talk about that. Matt Murray, is he likely to be traded from the Pittsburgh Penguins in the coming weeks or months? We'll talk about that. But the #1 Cochran number one topic tonight is going to be the Steelers and their ouster from the playoffs for the second year in a row. And here is your panel left to right on your television screen. We have 3 of the best in the business, beginning with Andrew Fillipponi over there, host of the PM Team. Every day 2 to 6 on 93.7 The Fan. In the middle, it's the outstanding beat writer for the Pirates right now, but he's a jack of all trades. You know him as Jason Mackey. And to the right, from the Fan Morning Show, yeah, you're up late, Chris Mack. You must be off tomorrow.
Well, you just
Chris
said it, Bob.
Mack.
It's technically morning.
Technically
okay.
morning, so he's up already. All right, good. Just stay up all night. Let's get right into this, guys. Pony, we'll start with you. Give me a grade of today's effort by the Steelers. They came into this knowing they had to win a game realistically, and they were playing a bunch of backups. You could argue the Steelers had a bunch of backups in there, but I expected more. Did you?
Yeah, I think it's actually the worst grade of the year, Bob. I give it an F. I think this is the final exam. And Mike Tomlin, who was getting straight A's, was putting every report card on the refrigerator. I think he wants to hide this one from his parents, Bob. I thought it was ugly, okay? I get it. The Ravens were the best team in the NFL this year. But that was the JV Ravens. That was the generic Ravens. That was a Baltimore team that made sure John Harbaugh went down the line and said, my best players aren't going to play in this game. And for this Steelers defense to basically get the run game jammed down their throat from the opening drive on, I thought was completely unacceptable, Bob. We get it, okay? Duck Hodges is playing. You're going to be limited offensively, but the great Steelers defense, Steel Curtain 2.0, 3.0, whatever you want to call it, that went out the window today.
Well, you just mentioned it there, Andrew. We all get it. We all knew exactly what this offense was supposed to look like the last 3 weeks. All of us, except for what? Maybe Randy Fichtner and Mike Tomlin, maybe is his boss included. That's where I think this failure, and if you want to talk about 3 straight failures to end the season, they were 8-5. They were in the driver's seat. They had a Buffalo team coming into their building, and they had a chance to put their foot down a little bit and prove that they could be, they could even be the top wild card. Forget that. They could have gone out and won 11 games this year. And yet, again, the offensive coordinator was what ended up burning them, not just in the Buffalo game, but in the Jets game. And at this point today, I don't know if an offensive coordinator would have helped with what you were left with on offense. The failure of the last 3 weeks is what I look at in totality.
Yeah, they should have shut out the Ravens, though. They should have shut out RG3. Period. I mean, if you've got the best defense in the NFL, Jason, you called, right? I mean, Bob,
that's a fair point, Pony, but they're not in the position for this game to even matter if they beat Buffalo in New York like they should.
No doubt. But am I wrong in saying that last month we were talking about how this was the best defense in the NFL?
Yeah,
Where
no
was
question.
That?
No,
and it had its problems last week as well, too, Jason Mackey. When you look at last week against the Jets, right off the bat, they gave up a touchdown drive to start the game. And with this offense, that put them in a terrible position to start, too. So, but, Jason, let me ask you this about the maybe lack of creativity. I realize you're dealing with guys who are not your primetime players on offense, but I expected a little bit more from this offense in terms of play calling, a little creativity.
Yeah, I didn't understand the direction that they went a lot of the past 3 games, like Chris mentioned. I mean, you can still throw over the middle of the field and not throw it 40 yards. I mean, it's a quick slant, 10-yard in. I mean, they're not complicated patterns. Duck Hodges should be able to do that. That being said, he's not a, between the tackles drop-back passer. Get him out on a bootleg. Get him out on a sprint out. Do different things with the quarterback who struggled with arm strength and throwing lanes. And they really didn't adjust that game plan. And, I do give Randy Fichtner a little bit of a pass because they don't have a ton of personnel when it comes to wide receiver depth, tight end depth, running back production. They didn't protect Duck Hodges all that well today.
Well, okay, there you go. I mean, that to me, again, when we're talking about what we demand, what the standard is, the standard for this particular Steelers team should have been offensively, that the offensive line leads us to a place where we are not lighting up the scoreboard, but we can be a functional offense. And I'm not letting Fichtner off the hook. Don't get me wrong. I think he did a terrible job too. I'm not trying to just, but I'm not going to just scapegoat him because they've got one of the highest paid offensive lines. And again today, we're seeing communication issues where Ravens players are going unimpeded at the quarterback, and that's just unacceptable. You know what? I'd like it better, guys, if we saw Foster or Villanueva and these guys just blown up, because then we'd know that they just can't play. How guys are going unblocked with a veteran offensive line is beyond me.
Well, that comes back to coaching.
Sure, it does.
That comes back to you don't have your future Hall of Fame quarterback and your all-pro center both in there. And if we're going to talk about this week specifically, right, you don't have those two guys in there. And that's been a problem for much of this run with both Rudolph and Hodges at quarterback, whether it was Pouncey at center or Finney filling in on a game like today's, where they don't have the same communication that Ben and Pouncey have always had over the years to slide a protection this way if they see something coming. How many times, to your point, Pony, did we see a single guy from the Ravens front get blocked by 2 or 3 Steelers offensive linemen? Communication, a huge problem with that line, and they're not getting any younger and they're not getting any cheaper either.
Well,
But Chris, it shouldn't even get to that point.
Right.
You shouldn't be calling pass plays for Duck Hodges that you would call for Ben Roethlisberger.
Well, Ben
They're not the same
Roethlisberger was the coordinator on the field for the last few years, Jason. That's the problem.
What
here.
do you think?
The current offensive coordinator doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. And if they don't do something about that before next year, it won't matter that Ben's coming back, even if he comes back 100% healthy. It'll still be up to Ben Roethlisberger to do everything on the field.
When they just promoted Sweet Feet, is that what they call him, Bob? What's this guy's name? Surratt?
Sean Surratt. Yep.
They call him Sweet Feet, apparently. I don't know where that comes from. The thought, a lot of people said, well, this offensive line can coach itself, right? I mean, they're all veterans. They're a cohesive unit. They played together. They've got incredible chemistry. So they don't need a Mike Munchak type, or they don't need a great offensive coordinator for that unit to function properly. And I'll back Jason up on this point. I don't think they need Randy Fichtner or Ben Roethlisberger to pick up, a blitz. I just don't. I think these guys are established enough where they should be able to do that on their own.
Yeah, and it's not to absolve them either from just terrible play at times this year. But you roll it all up into one big ball of wax, and it all comes rolling downhill towards the guy over there with the headset on, which in this case was Fichtner this year. And for me, that's the root of all these problems that we saw, that he couldn't handle 2 young, inexperienced quarterbacks.
Steelers at one point were 8-5 in control. Jason Mackey, in any way does that taint the job that the coaching staff did, considering they were 1-4, using a guy who'd never played in the NFL to be their starting quarterback at a place they seldom win? Does that taint what you saw from this team?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, I don't know how you can look at this season in totality and think positive thoughts right now. I mean, I guess in a couple weeks we'll be able to sit back and kind of reflect a little bit more, but I'm not terribly excited about anything, at least offensively, that I saw this season. I still think they need to improve the offensive line. They need more offensive playmakers. They need something out of their tight end position. Yeah, the defense made some great strides, but I mean, it's back-to-back non-playoff years. So we can't sit here and sing Mike Tomlin's praises when, again, back-to-back, not making the playoffs.
Well, and you mentioned all the problems on offense, all the weapons that all the issues that need to be addressed with maybe new weapons on offense. And you don't have a first-round pick to do that. As much as I love the trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick, you don't have a first-round pick. So you're going to have to be even better with those offensive skill position picks in the coming draft.
And to me, Chris, that trade, I think, that's how you judge this season. That trade sent the signal and the message to all the fans out there, all of us, that the Steelers were still competing for a playoff spot. So they fall short of that. They don't have a first-round pick now.
But it also said that we can build towards the future with this defense because we've just shorn up the back end of it, which they did with Mick.
No doubt, but it was also a sign that said we believe that with Mason Rudolph and this trade, we can get to the playoffs. And you had everything lined up for you, and then you lost a home game, you got beat by a bad Jets team, and you didn't show up against Ravens backups. It's not even close to a Coach of the Year job. Tomlin did a decent job this year, but nothing special.
All right. We'll talk more about the Steelers, and we'll look at the biggest need area. We'll ask these guys what that would be. They have a lot of tough decisions to make. But if you would like to enjoy the game from the comfort of your couch and you'd like to make everything happen that way, well, we have something that you're going to love. It's called Expressway at Cochran.com. You can buy a car from your couch. Simple as that. Expressway lets you complete some, most, or all of the buying process online. You'll spend less time or no time at all in the showroom if that's what you want. And they even offer home delivery at no extra charge. So buy a car your way at Expressway at Cochran.com. More Steeler debate next. The Number One Cochran Sports Showdown is brought to you by Number One Cochran. Go one better. And by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Have a greater hand in your health.